Good day to my fellow student and teacher researchers and the organizing committee of this wonderful event. Before I'd start, I'd like to share with you an idea of have you ever wondered why aircraft crashes or undergoes emergency landing and more throughout the social media, news, and every TV station that you watch? And this is because one of the dirty dozens is present in almost every part of the aviation industry, and that is the complacency, specifically among the aircraft mechanics. Why? Because an aircraft must be airworthy enough to be able to transport human lives from point A to point B. And with that, I'd like to share with you and propose to you our title, The Development of the Multi-Mount Camera in Aviation Maintenance and Inspection. I am Joshua Serna Sanchez from Pat's College of Aeronautics. Allow me to present with you our prototype. For the full body, what we have here is the overview of our prototype. We have here the head mount and the body mount. For our close-up view, the head mount is consists of a hard hat, one attachment, and also the camera, and its casing also. For the body mount, what we have here is the reflector vest that can be used and which is used in aviation maintenance field. We have here also an attachment of itself and also the camera. In aviation industry, there is a minimal opportunity for error. And that is because I want us to focus on the bolded letters on the screen, which is the safety of life on board the aircraft is a general concern, which means that aircraft mechanics are the doctors of the aircrafts. And there are top nine maintenance factors for fatalities. And this is according to our research data. The top two are the inadequate maintenance procedure, which is 14.6% related fatalities, 14.4% for damage. Next, for the top two is the operator's inadequate maintenance oversight, 14.6% for fatalities and 6.5% for damage. With that number, it is enough to have a reserve feeling on the safety of our life during onboard an aircraft. And because numerous studies in the past assesses the competency of these cameras in different fields, and it is evident in medical and in law enforcement field. And with this novelty study, we proposed a solution of using multi-mount camera, specifically in aviation maintenance inspection. For the objectives of the study, I'd like us to focus on 3 points. And these are for the point one is to lessen the complacency causing inadequate maintenance inspection procedures. Second is to document and record the maintenance inspection for additional surveillance. And third is to evaluate the prototype in terms of characteristics based on the applicable criteria of the ISO 25010 2011. Next, for our theoretical framework, this framework focuses on the technical performance of the prototype, and this framework was also used to create our interview questionnaires. What we have here is the characteristics and sub-characteristics, which will be used to serve as a criteria for the product development. Next is the conceptual framework, which serves as the map of the study, the guide steps or the flow of our study from start to finish. We have here the emphasize, which means looking for sub problems to solve, define, which is to have more thorough research, ideate, to think of a proposed solution and prototype, the build of the prototype, testing, and also the implementation. Now, for the significance of the study, the researchers believe that these beneficiaries will benefit from our study, and one of it is where we conducted our interview and testing is the Partnership Philippines Corporation, and also the other beneficiaries, which are the AMO, repair station, and MROs, or maintenance, repair, and overhaul, and also the future researchers, where our data will serve as their data for the future related research. The research methodology used developmental and experimental approach to create this prototype, and a qualitative method to focus on the informant's experience using thematic analysis via software called MaxQDA. And the photos above serves as the evidence that we have conducted our testing and interview. The research findings shows three master team and several superordinate team. What we have here, the master team are the complacency reduction, surveillance effectivity, and prototype reliability. And we will discuss this on the next slides. And we shall focus on the objective number one, which is how successful is the employment of the multi-mount camera in reducing complacency during maintenance and inspection procedures among aircraft mechanics. And there are several findings which are the accuracy, and they may not be able to capture everything that can be seen in the naked eye. Informants also said about the prohibitively expensive and the impractical of use in certain situations. And also the cost of using this prototype varies depending on the workload. But the benefits of performance review and the accountability compatibility may outweigh the cost of the usage of the multi-mount camera. And therefore, the conclusion arrived that it is still being determined and requires further research to fully understand the potential of the multi-mount camera. For the next objective, how well does the camera work for the documentation and filming extra aircraft mechanic surveillance? We also gathered different findings. They have mixed capabilities for surveillance and documentation based on the informants' responses. Some other had positive experience with the camera and the reviewing of documenting task. However, some had reservations of their capabilities and effectiveness, and others had concerns about the limited access of capturing capabilities and the difficulty of storing and maintaining them, which arrived at the conclusion that this study yielded mixed results. Some had positive experience while others had reserved experience with the capabilities or effectiveness. For the third objective, what we have here is to evaluate the prototype in terms of characteristics based on the prototype applicable criteria set by ISO 25010-2011. Different findings as well. Cameras can aid in the documentation and maintenance inspection procedures. Others had difficulties of using cameras in confined spaces, time-consuming setup, discomfort, and also the organization policies and procedures should be considered, and additional research analysis may be required to fully comprehend this approach potential. Therefore, we arrived with the conclusion that the prototype had met a mixed outcome, indicating that the prototype is in the right track to meet its desired characteristics. This is because the prototype will have more room for improvement. For the recommendation, aircraft maintenance facilities must conduct cost benefit analysis, training and education for aircraft mechanics on how to use and maintain, and also the continuous improvement of the technologies of the camera. For the future researchers, it is also recommended to conduct further research to understand its potential and improve the technologies of the camera. The future researchers should also continuously improve the camera and upgrade it by creating its own application. And with that, I'd like to end my presentation of the development of the multi-man camera in aviation maintenance and inspection. And I hope that by listening to this presentation, we would value the human lives aboard the aircrafts. Thank you.